But when I look at the way they worshipped in the Old Testament, it's very different to how Muslims worship.
The worship, if you go back to the Old Testament, you have many traditions from Moses, from Abraham, from other prophets of God, where they prostrate him, praying to God by prostrating. This is how Muslims pray. This is how even Jewish people today pray. They pray through prostration. It's very similar. They would stand, recite something, they would go into prostration. It's very similar and close to how Muslims pray. Why are prophets of messengers sent by God? They're sent to teach us how to pray to God, how to connect to God, how to become closer to Him. So if they are praying in that way, then this is the right way for you and me to pray. But I've already told you that I already explained to you two things. First, the corruption, which means that you're not going to find the exact way. This is a lot of people misunderstand this idea. If the Old Testament have the exact way of what Islam teaches and is fully preserved, Islam makes no sense. Why would God send Prophet Muhammad? Like, why would Allah send another prophet if what He wanted people to know is already there and preserved? It's just common sense. If everything was the same within the Quran and within the Old Testament, it would make the Quran the Old Testament. No, the things are different because corruptions happen, and God was trying to bring people back to their tradition. Now, let me add you to that as well, that in Islam, we affirm that all the prophets and messengers of God had the same belief, okay? They believed in one God, they believed in the angels of God, they judged on all of that. But they had different shara'i, different legislations, laws and legislations. They are befitting for the people and their time. So the Quran, for instance, records that upon the children of Israel, Allah made many commands because of their disobedience. He made many restrictions upon them. And we can see that even in the Old Testament. He's made many restrictions upon them for their disobedience. These are not applicable to me. I was with the group of those people who were disobeying God, therefore needed restrictions. So if you're expecting, of course, there's differences in the laws and in the teachings. For another example I'm going to give you, the Quran records, for example, at the time of Joseph. Okay, Joseph is a messenger of God. That messenger of God, the Quran records that his family prostrated to him, prostrating to a human being. In our tradition, our Sharia, that is not permissible. It wasn't a prostration of worship, it was a prostration of respect. Okay? But that is prohibited in Islam. But Allah records that that happened at the time of Joseph. So in his legislation, in his Sharia, in his law, that was allowed to prostrate to someone out of respect. Does that make sense? So now, if you see a way of worship or a specific law or something that was different, that doesn't go against the teachings of Islam anyways. Even if I were to accept that that was preserved, which is not. If I were to say, okay, that is preserved, no problem, I'm going to accept it the way it is. Even if I did that, that doesn't contradict the Islamic narrative because there's different shara'i for different prophets. But the beliefs, internal creeds, are all the same.